Hey guys, and welcome to a new tutorial. This tutorial is going to be a little different. We're not going to be discussing making hex modifications to the game. We're going to be talking about trying to fix the problem with the VirtuaNES emulator when you try to record a gameplay video using the emulator. I don't know if you guys know, but there's the feature or ability to record your gameplay within the emulator. So the problem is that the files are corrupt. I think it started with Windows 10 and definitely continued with Windows 11. The last time I recall it working was probably Windows 8 or perhaps even just Windows 7, but I'm pretty sure I was working with it in Windows 8. So this is one problem, is that the files now are becoming corrupt. You can't open them. And the other problem is that even when it used to work, the file size is incredibly huge, like it's enormous. Maybe a 5-minute or 7-minute gameplay gives you like a 4 or 5 gigabyte file, which is ridiculously large. So we're going to talk about shrinking the file size without affecting quality. Reducing the file of these gigantic and absurdly large files. And there's no reason for them to be this large, So real quick, I'm going to demonstrate, the way to, for those who don't know how to use that record feature, I'm going to show you how to use it. But if you know how to use it and you just want to solve the problem of the corrupt file and the large file size, then once I figure out after editing the video, I'll tell you on the screen which minute you should skip to. Okay, so we go ahead and open up the emulator and open up our ROM. And go into, let's pretend we're just going to play and record our gameplay. Okay. So you go up to Edit, and then down to Movie, and then you go to Record. Okay, here it's asking you to name this file, which is a VMV file. This isn't your movie file. This is just a file that the emulator is going to use to give you the AVI format file, which you can then use for your for YouTube or whatever you want to use it for. But you have to give this file a name, or you could just accept the default name. But be careful where you're saving it, because you need to retrieve it later. So you need to know where to look for it, later. So I have a folder called VirtuaNES. I'm just going to save it there with the default name. Okay, now you just continue your gameplay. Okay, and when you're finished, you just come up to File, Close, and close the game, and then go right back up to Edit and back down to Movie. This time, you're going to have this option here, the AVI Convert. So click that and choose the ROM file. It has to be the same exact file that you were playing with. It can't be any other ROM file, even if it's an identical copy. It has to be the one you were playing with, otherwise this won't work. Okay, so you choose it, and then the movie file is the one I told you to pay attention to where you're saving it. So for me, it was this one right here. And then the AVI file, that's the one that it's going to generate for you. And that's the one that you can, upload to YouTube, for example, if you want to. So you just give this a name. I'm going to call it Test. And I'm going to save everything in the same folder. Okay, now you don't need to mess with these settings. You just come up here to select video format and make sure this is on full frames uncompressed and click OK, click Convert. Now, obviously, this finished almost immediately, instantly, because there was actually just like 1 second of gameplay. But if you played for like 10 minutes, you're probably going to wait for a couple of minutes. If you played for half an hour, you're going to wait a little longer, so it depends, etc., etc., All right, so you can just close out of these here, and then the file will be this. This is the file. The test will be in whatever folder you saved it in. Okay, so now to fix the problem, because like I said, the file is probably going to be corrupt. You won't be able to use it. So you could just go over to the folder where you open your exe, the VirtuaNES exe, and right-click on the VirtuaNES exe, go to Properties, and you're going to want to go up to Compatibility. And from the Compatibility tab, we're going to go down to Change Settings for all users. And you're going to want to tick this box right here, run this program, and drop this list down. And the one that worked for me was Windows 8. But, you know, depending on your computer, you may have to try probably Windows 7. It depends. It might be Windows 7, might be Windows 8. So once you choose which one works for you, you just click OK. And I recommend rebooting your computer. And another thing you can try, even though I think this is what's going to solve the problem for you, but if it doesn't alone solve the problem for you, you might need to couple it with right-clicking on this and running it as administrator before you go in to record your video, your gameplay video. And now we're going to move on to reducing the file size. So that incredibly large file size, which is completely unnecessary, the way to fix that is it's pretty much following the steps as before. We go up to record, and then when you go to the part, so after you've finished your gameplay, I told you to close the ROM, you know, and then you go up to Edit Movie and you go to AVI Convert. So now you choose all of these as usual, the way I showed you, and then you just go to Select Video Format. And here you choose this, you probably will have this like showing as a duplicate like me, but just choose the first one you see, which is this Intel one right here. And click OK and click Convert. This should reduce the file size considerably, and you know, it shouldn't affect the quality of your video. So I hope you found this helpful. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day.